I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Wednesday, December 4th, 2024. It is the 14th of Sagittarius, and it is the day of a reindeer. And aren't they cute? In their little barn with all sorts of wreaths and festive goodies. Such cute animals. I'm very sad I live so far south that, reindeer just, they are not a native species at all. So I have to admire them from afar. But let's move on to our astrology for the day. The sun is in Sagittarius, mutable fire, representing adventure. The moon begins the day in first quarter Capricorn, cardinal earth, representing tradition. Then at 5:34 p.m. Central Time, it goes void of course, and at 10:21 p.m. Central Time, it moves into first quarter Aquarius, fixed air, which is focused upon individuality. Mercury is retrograding in Sagittarius, mutable fire, which represents travel disruption. Venus is in Capricorn, cardinal earth, which is to be reserved. Mars is in Leo, fixed fire, representing focus. Jupiter is retrograding in Gemini, mutable air, which is to broaden perspective. Saturn is in Pisces, mutable water, representing nostalgia. Uranus is retrograding in Taurus, fixed earth, representing rebellion. Neptune is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, which is spiritual awakenings. And Pluto is in Aquarius, fixed air, representing reformation. For Mercury, rethink your communication patterns. For Jupiter, reconnect with your true path. For Uranus, reconsider how you rebel. For Neptune, reclaim your magic. And for Chiron, restore the heroic spirit. Our moon is currently a waxing crescent, so nurture yourself and your new ideas. Then the theme for the Aquarius moon is community and activism, focusing upon those broader relationships, seeing yourself as part of an integral whole, and also being active within it. Activism does not have to mean political activism. And to be honest, I think everyone has had more than their fill of that over the past few years. But being active is showing up for community events, of, learning more about your neighbors, actually interacting with other people, volunteering if you possibly can. That's the kind of activism that I think would be far more beneficial to focus upon. So, watch out for that Mercury retrograde and how it might be impacting your plans to go hither and thither. Allow plenty of time to do your errands today if this is your errand day. Double check that your vehicle's in good order. And also be aware that the Aquarius moon might kind of shorten your patience with any delays you encounter. So deep, deep breaths. Counting to 10, as they used to tell us. Try to just kind of grin and bear it if you can. Then our tarot for today is the Queen of Gifts. Queens represent expressiveness, experience, being thoughtful, and also sustaining energies. And the suit of gifts aligns with pentacles or coins in our more familiar decks, and of course, the element of earth. And the keyword for this particular card is pragmatic, protecting, and parental. So you see a very nice, very festive, but also very simple Yuletide scene there. She clearly hasn't gone to extravagance. She's used what she's had. She's arranged it beautifully, and she's going forward with that. And I would wager a guess at the gift she's about to put under the tree. It might be something that is, a little bit more on the practical side. The protectiveness that's implied, I think, by how she's looking at that little bunny on the floor, probably belongs to the child of the house. Seeing the toy makes her think of the child, and also the present she'll be giving the child, and just how she wants to nurture and look after the little tiny human that's in her charge. And that also, I think there is a clear implication that, she is in more of a parental role. So for us, I think this is an admonition to really focus upon being very practical about thinking about what's needed, not just what's wanted, to be recommitting ourselves to looking after those who are within our care, whether it is our children, whether it is our spouse, whether or not it's our friends, whoever that happens to be. If it is within our charge to look after, of doing so in a very kind and very nurturing way, not smothering anyone, not taking over their responsibilities for them, but being there and being part of the larger support system. Then today's Celtic triad reads three followers of wisdom: imagination, purpose, and endeavor. So I thought that was an interesting combination of words there. Imagination that expands the more we understand. Possibilities open up, creativity flows more freely because we have a better idea of how the universe itself all fits together, and that's part of what wisdom is. And so then, therefore, we can imagine more and imagine more in align with the realities of what might be possible, just to see what could be. And then purpose. Having purpose is really the result of knowing who you are, what you're meant to be doing, and proceeding to carry that out and not being distracted. There are so many distractions, and it can cause us doubt and anguish, and it can all detract us from our purpose and what we really ought to be doing. And I'm really glad this is coming up while we're in the midst of that Jupiter retrograde, because part of that is, as we previously mentioned, about realigning ourselves and reconnecting to our true path that is very much aligned with this idea of having purpose. And of course, pursuing that is a follower of wisdom. You have the wisdom to recognize this is what you ought to be doing and not worrying about the things that are outside of that. And then endeavor. That is very necessary because nothing occurs without effort. And as much effort as is required to gain wisdom, just as much is needed to produce the actual fruits of wisdom. And so it's always going to require effort. Life is not a spectator sport. So if we have a bit of that bad cultural programming in our heads, this is really a good time to make an effort to unravel that because life really opens up for it once we are actually investing with our actions. Then, next up, our collection of correspondences is all about blessings today. The color is white, and white is a very universal magical color. You can substitute it out for anything. The plant is the rose, also another universal substitute. The animal is the dove. Now, doves are often associated with the idea of peace, but peace, of course, is a blessing. And if we have peace, we are able to enjoy all of the other things we are blessed with. So I think that makes for a very natural connection there. And then the crystal is quartz. And of course, quartz is, again, one of those multifunctional stones. And it's also an amplifier. So whatever blessings we are receiving, the quartz can amplify that energy. And whether the times are good for us or if they are very difficult, there are still blessings for us to enjoy if we will but look for them and being willing to look for our blessings. That can really be a huge game changer in our mindset and our own personal energy and how we interact with others. Then today's hearth-keeping hint, if we're we're going to talk about those dastardly digital devices. I'm not quite a Luddite, but I certainly do have sympathy with them. And even though I am using technology right at this moment in order to communicate with you, I will not deny that I do frequently feel extraordinarily frustrated with technology and just how dependent we really are on it. So, first hint is that you are in charge, not the tools. Do not be a slave to technology. Make sure they are serving your purpose and that you're not just putting yourself in the service of advertisers because it seems like no matter what device we're on these days, there's endless advertisements, and it doesn't seem to matter how many ad blockers you have up. They find a way through. It's so intensely annoying. So make sure that you aren't, being more programmed by that than what you can avoid. Also, when it comes to your devices, have a specific purpose in mind when you pick them up. Um, I know some people find it relaxing to to do the scroll thing. A husband unit is very much on board with that. He simply cannot be reasoned with. I've not successfully converted him by any means, but I don't think it's necessarily good for us. I think it serves as another way to keep us detached from the people and what's going on around us. So if you go into it with having a specific purpose and then set it down once that purpose is fulfilled, I just think we would be happier. Try it and let me know how it works for you. And then, of course, regularly cleanse these devices because, as I mentioned yesterday, a lot of energy really does come through these screens. We need to be aware of that and act accordingly. And of course, simplify. Simplify what you are interacting with, simplify how much you have to use these things for. Just think about how you can make it simpler and easier. And of course, to make it also easier for us to walk away from so that we can actually engage with the corporeal world again. Then for today's practice, first little factoid, December may reference in part the goddess Decima of the Fates, who is the personification of the present. So it's not just in reference to, December was originally the 10th month of the year on, a much older calendar. But just another little tidbit, it's also associated with this goddess as well. Then for divination, you might try out a Yule Tarot spread. Then our archetype for today is a Winter Seer. And I want to put the question to you. Do you find that divination is a bit different in the winter? Is it? Is it not? What is your experience with it? I think that should be interesting to contemplate. For meditation, you might focus upon moving into the hibernation season because even though this is a hyper busy time of year for sure, at the end of it, we are going into a very deep hibernation. So, thinking about how we want to make that hibernation very restorative for us, that can be good for us. And then today, you might choose to carry or wear fluorite. So here's a Yule and Winter solstice spread you might choose to use today. For the first card, it's a lesson from the past. The second card is joy in the present. The third card is a gift in the future. Then the fourth card is something to contemplate. The fifth card is something to activate. And the sixth card is something to celebrate. So you could have some pretty interesting devices on with that. And of course, I will be posting another video today that is focusing upon a different solstice spread and check under the community tabs because I believe I will be posting both this spread and the spread I'll have in the other video on that tab. So if you want to use it, you can take a screenshot it, you can save it, whatever you need to do, and you can see for yourself whether or not you like these spreads. So if you happen to have Yule themed tarot or oracle cards, this is the perfect time of year to get those out and really enjoy them. And if you don't have one, choose your favorite deck. Just make it just a nicer occasion. Then, in Creative Corner, sending festive cards to friends and family. This is a long-standing custom at this time of year. If you're artsy, you can try making your own, or if you're like the rest of us mere mortals, you can actually support one of our pagan brothers and sisters on creative sites like Etsy who do create these cards for our enjoyment. That's where I found all of these cards. Well, I know they link to Etsy sites, and it's just a really beautiful style. And a lot of our brothers and sisters, they have a very naturalized, very earthy kind of style for these seasonal things. So, if that is the vibe you are really going for, and you're wanting to send out a little bit of happy mail to people, think about looking these people up and giving them a little bit of business, supporting our own, and also sending out something that is very reflective of your own perceptions of the season. Then our journal prompt for today. Do you have a sense of destiny in your life? And I chose this illustration just because something about the way he was drawn just it makes me think he this is a man on a mission. He has his faithful wolf beside him and they're going out and they're going to accomplish things. Do you have that sense in your own life? And if you don't, is that something you want to cultivate? So probably some pretty interesting journal reflections about that. So, on that note, everyone, have a really magical day. I wish you, of course, the bright blessings and all the joys of the season. Let me know what you thought about all of this in the comments below, and I will see you next time. Bye.